On the 12th of October, Altimus store in Kensington hosted extreme skier Dan Egan for a talk and signing of his new book, 30 Years in a White Haze. Dan told us about the inspiration behind the book and why it's so important to him.
In 1990, I was lost in a storm in Russia that killed 11 people. And I was lost for 32 hours. And it took me 30 years to process that trauma and to put it in perspective. My friends had died, and yeah, it just took a while to just I wanted to tell that story, but I never wanted that to be the end of the book. That happened in my early 20s, so it's really the beginning of my adult life. And I wanted the book to start there, and it's affected everything I've ever done. You know, my co-author, Eric Wilbur, is an amazing author and writer himself, and together we were able to tell the story in a very compelling way. And yeah, it's been very healing for me. The book's a deeply personal book, so the experiences with my brother, our bond and our disagreements are all in the book. Successes and failures are in the book, but always through the lens of having a second shot at life by living that storm. The story is about family. You know, I grew up in a big family of 7 kids, and my mom was a gym teacher and taught me all my sports. My dad taught me how to sail. The freedom and the confidence they instilled in me as a boy. You know, I like to joke that I make my living doing everything my parents taught me how to do before the age of 10. Ski, soccer, sail. And so it's people connect at a lot of different levels. Some connect on the stories of me sneaking into Beirut while there's still hostages to go skiing. Others connect with the family. It's a regional book about Boston and the relevance of Boston and the influence it has. So there's I get a lot of different emails where people connect at different levels. But most of them say, wow, I got to know you, which is kind of cool. Skiing returns me to a place of my youth, a joyful place, a playful place. And that's what I love about it.
Dan also discussed that after the tragedy at Mount Elbrus, he discovered the importance of moving away from critically analysing every movement when skiing to focusing more on enjoying what's around you so that you are able to live in the moment. Dan has written other books, including All-Terrain Skiing and Courage to Persevere, and explains the process of how he writes and why he enjoys it.
Being a storyteller and learning from Warren Miller, just communicating stories, it just excites people. The emotion of the day, sharing the feeling of what it's like to have a perfect powdered day. Yeah, I love storytelling, and I love sort of crafting the story for people that want to go out there and explore. I have a very active mind, so and I love sort of letting the process of things come. So when I'm skiing, I'm always thinking about stories or people that I've met. And I'm a very active writer, so you know, I'll go for a run or a bike ride, and I'll come and I'll be thinking, and I'll just start to write. I wake up in the middle of the night and write.
Also in attendance at the book signing was Dan's friend of 30 years, Martina Diaz-Ruth, and she was promoting her artwork as well as supporting Dan. She works with pastels and started her art during lockdown, and now it has become a big part of her life. One of her drawings even features in Dan's new book.
Well, I know Dan since he was already promoting his ski clinics. I remember he was a famous skier appearing on the Warren Miller movies. And he used to come to the office where I used to work at Crystal Butte Mountain Resort. I always have a good relationship with him. I kept on talking all the time, and every time he comes to London, I see him.
The evening not only reunited old friends, but gave everyone a new, more positive perspective.